every dive into oceans brings either something horrifying or something jaw-droppingly weird. Alien eggs, phantom jellyfish, red devil squid, monstrous croc, and sharks fighting. Here are some of the remarkable captures from the ocean that no one was supposed to see. Giant glowing sea worm. Alright, we are starting with this one. Yeah, I know you are thinking this is no sea creature, but maybe an inflatable tube man. But to your surprise, it is. These giant worm-like things are called pyrosomes. Pyrosomes are so rare that they may as well be unicorns. They have only been caught on film a few times. Wait, there's more. Pyrosomes aren't individual creatures, but colonies made up of thousands of individual pyrosome clones. Awesome, right? These clonal colonies can be as small as a pencil eraser, but larger colonies may grow up to 25 meters, beating blue whales in length. They are mostly known for being filter feeders, and it is highly unusual that you might run into one of these on your underwater trip. Still, fingers crossed. Huge squid egg. Here is a dive that feels almost like an alien encounter. After exploring a World War II shipwreck, the divers were returning when they came across a fascinating translucent sphere floating only a few feet above the ocean floor. The huge ball appeared to contain some sort of tissue-like material at first inspection. As it turned out, the seemingly extraterrestrial item was a massive squid egg sac. They examined the sphere more closely by shining their flashlights onto its surface to reveal swarms of tiny maggot-like animals moving inside. The egg sac, however, contained countless young squid. So, I'm going to refer to it as huge jelly nurseries. But still, how does Mother Nature make these things? Enormous fish nibbles the diver. Wait, why is he playing with this huge fish? Maybe for a photo op? But isn't he aware of not interfering with marine life? I mean, we can just visit and quietly observe them. I am not sure what this diver was thinking, though. Even the fish tried to play along at first, but after a while this huge fish got tired of his antics and snapped at him, at which point the diver punched the fish. Relax, I guess. In the end, you see the fish seemingly get into the re-attack mode, but the diver and cameraman didn't seem interested anymore. Giant phantom jellyfish. There have only been 9 confirmed sightings of this enormous jellyfish, but it has stirred the scientific community for sure. This eerie thing was called huge phantom jelly and was captured on camera in Monterey Bay off the coast of California at a depth of 3,200 feet. And if you think this huge jellyfish is not huge, wait till you hear the stats about it. They can grow their arms to more than 10 meters long, which they use to catch and trap animals. The bell is over a meter long. Experts are eager to further study this jellyfish, but the elusive creature is hard to spot. Fish inside diver's mouth. Here is a deep water encounter that went a little fishy. This diver was 100 feet below the surface when he opened wide to let 2 cleaner fish in to look for food. The fish were nibbling at his lips. I'm sure the fish were thinking, "This is an unusual space, never seen before." And I think that diver was enjoying it too. Fish at hippo's service. Here goes another unusual dynamic. This hippo is enjoying a cheeky snooze, while the small fishes are giving it the pampering it needs to relax. And as a reward, the hippo lets them pick food from the ivory temple that is his mouth. In this mouth-cleaning service, the hippo gets its end and the fish gets their food. So it's a win-win for both. Man goes diving with CROC. I mean, why on earth would someone do that? But adrenaline junkies are out of this world. This man went diving with massive crocodiles who weighed more than 1,500 pounds in the swamps of the Okavango Delta. Each and every moment that diver spent underwater was full of scares of the unknown. The intense dive reached its peak when the man spotted that majestic crocodile. I was afraid that the croc would attack now and eat those divers at every move they made, but they were lucky to get out alive. Shark diving gone wrong. There is nothing more heart-stopping than something going wrong when the sharks are involved. Here are some raw clips from a cage diving experience showing a great white shark that broke into and entered a cage whilst the divers were still inside it. After a few seconds of panic and being dead close to the shark's massive jaws, the divers escaped from the bottom door while the shark got trapped inside. Later on, the shark was released back in the wild by the marine experts. Shark fights another shark. Underwater shark fights are very rare to get captured on the film. We often see them fighting in the aquariums or other captivity centers. Once a man, however, went cage diving, and there he filmed two sharks fighting each other. It was just a glimpse of what they were doing, but it was brutal. Monkfish. You have paid some dollars for a cool trip, and then you dive in the ocean to have a thrilling experience. But it all ends up when you come across this monster. This is a monkfish. Big eyes, stone-like body, and oh my God, look at those lips! It can reach up to the lengths of 1 meter. This is legit one of the scariest monsters of the deep sea that can freak anyone out. Monkfish are expert hunters. Look here. Filmed by an ROV in the Norwegian sector of the North Sea is an attack in which a monkfish lured a coalfish and caught it in the blink of an eye. Marine life devouring a whale. During an exploratory dive, marine researchers stumbled upon a 16-foot-long whale carcass more than 4,000 feet under the waves, and they captured the footage of the skeleton and the deep-sea denizens feasting on the creature's remains. Creepy, right? Whale carcasses that sink to the bottom of the ocean like this are called whale falls. And they become new habitats because the cetacean's decomposing body provides food and shelter for myriad marine species. Red devil squid. The red devil squid is notorious for its aggressive behavior against other sea creatures, and even humans. Take this one for instance. At first, the captive squid was quite calm, but eventually became irritated with the persistent host, who was getting too physical with it, and took a good hold, letting the diver know that he'd quite overstayed his welcome. I know it kind of looks a little too much, but I think if we shifted roles, humans would do more than just pinch. Remains of a giant sloth. 3 skeletons of sloths, which are now extinct, were found in Cuba by an expedition. They have been preserved for thousands of years in a water-filled cave. This may provide new insight in the Pleistocene megafaunal extinction, which mostly wiped out the large-bodied creatures that inhabited America. Animals like mammoths and huge ground sloths vanished from mainland North America about 10,000 years ago. Giant rose-shaped corals. The Tahiti Reef is believed to be one of the biggest one reef which appears to be unaffected by anthropogenic climate change. However, the Twilight Zone contains something that could more accurately be described as a hidden treasure, something that no diver imagined they would ever find. Depths of more than 30 meters when sunlight levels are substantially lower. The divers discovered a reef covered in corals in the shape of roses, which is kind of a massive deal for marine biologists. So we can say that it is not so boring down there. Well, the sight of enormous stunning rose coral that stretched as far as the eye could see was nearly as wonderful as mesmerizing. 13,000-year-old skeleton. The divers found a 13,000-year-old skeleton in a Mexican cave, which is considered one of the oldest genetically intact human skeletons ever found in the Western Hemisphere. The scientists believe that the skeleton belonged to a teenage girl, and it had bones of more than 24 beasts buried alongside, including saber-toothed tigers, cave bears, giant ground sloths, and an elephant alongside it. The experts named her Nia, after a water nymph from Greek mythology. The genetic test on the superbly preserved remains found by cave divers have answered questions about the origins of the New World's first people. Skeletons in chairs. A man snorkeling in the river was terrified when he came across two fake skeletons sitting in lawn chairs about 40 feet underwater. The man told the authorities, which launched a hunt for what they believed could be real bodies. It turned out the skeletons were fake and had been strategically placed to appear as if they were sitting together, their lawn chairs bound to large rocks. The skeletons were wearing sunglasses, and one was holding a sign. It is even said that the sign had the date of August 16th, 2014, which is possible when the skeletons were placed there. Ancient human bones. A research team discovered parts of the human skeleton during its ongoing excavation of the famous Antikythera shipwreck, 65 BC. The shipwreck, which hold the remains of Greek trade, was located in the Aegean Sea. The human remains include a jaw and teeth, long bones of the arms and legs, ribs, and some other parts. Other portions of the skeleton are still embedded in the seafloor, awaiting excavation during the next phase of operations. But so far, DNA analysis has provided insight into the lives of people who lived 2,100 years before. Cursed shipwrecks treasure. Here goes another shipwreck, but it is no ordinary one, as this one is cursed. More interestingly, for 450 years, no one knew where the Swedish warship Mars sank in the Baltic Sea. And though it is considered to be the largest vessel of its time, it went down. And when it was investigated, the ship had the remains of its passengers. But that's not all. The cursed boat was also laden with treasure, up to $17 billion. It was also said to contain artifacts such as paintings, tools, and clothing made by people from any time and place. Oldest painting in the world. The discovery was made alongside the south coast of France in what is now known as the Cosquer Cave, after its finder, Henry Cosquer, who was down in the ocean to recover the bodies of 3 divers. First found in 1985, the prehistoric rock art engravings were not made public until 1991. A huge portion of the cavern, including some of the wall art, was permanently or periodically submerged and destroyed by seawater, leaving only 150 pieces of art dating back to as early as the Upper Paleolithic. The divers had to travel 175 meters down to find unique paintings of the Great Auk. And it turns out that no cave art sites had ever been found in the area, which was far from the concentrations of this one. Black Smoker. The team of divers was able to map a dark, hot, and toxic vent field, as in the deep waters between Fiji and Tonga. Roughly a mile below the surface, these towering chimneys rise from the seafloor. These black smokers expel dark clouds of scalding water, rich in elements like sulfur, copper, and zinc. And so far, mining companies have become interested in the cache of metals at hydrothermal vents, making it increasingly necessary to examine and catalog these complex ecosystems. But studying the ocean floor is no simple task, and there are still many mysteries surrounding seafloor hydrothermal vent complexes. Ghost Fleet of TRUK Lagoon. It is the largely forgotten by the world TRUK Lagoon in the South Pacific and was discovered in 1960. During the Second World War, it was the main base of Japan's Imperial Fleet in the South Pacific, and on the 17th of February 1944, American forces launched a major bombardment, resulting in 60 Japanese warships lying on the seafloor during 2 days of bloody action. Over 250 Japanese aircraft were destroyed. Most of them had not had a chance to take off, as they had just arrived from Japan and were partly disassembled. An estimated 400 Japanese soldiers were killed in one ship alone, trapped in the cargo hold. Most of the fleet remains in exactly the same spot it was left, and Japan began recovery efforts. And many remains of the bodies have been removed and returned to Japan for burial. A few, however, remain in the water, and their wrecks are visible through the shallow, clear water. Mammoth tusks. 10,000 feet below the coast of California, The divers came across the mammoth tusks dating back to 1,000 years. The scientists returned 2 years later to retrieve the giant mammal's remains from the water. The tusk was 3 meters in length, and the analysis confirmed that it was a Columbian mammoth that used to roam in the northern part of North America and disappeared between 13,000 and 10,000 years ago, probably as a result of habitat loss and climate change. Red handfish. A team of divers found a kind of fish with hands and feet walking on the seabed, and it was named red handfish, or Thymicutes pilatus. Well, the fish is bright red in color and has unusual mohawk-like fins on the head and finger-like fins on the side. And as mentioned before, the fish walks instead of swimming. They reside in very small places. They were not more than 5 inches in size and had flattened warts on their skins, with most of their scales and spines embedded in their skins. I'm sure that finding a new population is definitely exciting. Diver removes shark hooks. This shark encounter is unique. A fierce shark approached this diver while he was out at sea. The diver was undoubtedly feared for his life, just like any other normal person. However, this shark wasn't there to eat the human. Instead, it was seeking assistance since it had a hook hooked in her flesh. And even the diver deduced that the shark wasn't there for a meal. He then carefully withdrew the hook, and once the shark was relieved of the discomfort, you could see the shark return to express her gratitude for the wonderful deed. Angry 18-foot shark. Whereas this shark does not want assistance but is looking for something to devour. So she gambled on getting this diver out of his metal cage. You can see her using all of her strength and razor-sharp teeth to get rid of the cage that is in the way of her food. And we can even hear the diver team instructing him to get out of the cage, because this marine beast was not about to give up. But even the guys on the boat knew that getting him out was not an easy job, and the safest place for him was the cage. If it stays in one piece, hopefully the diver did get out of there. P.S. Keep your fingers crossed. Otherwise, I don't think that would have gotten our hands on the video. Manta ray rescue. Here goes another diver who came across a stuck marine creature on one of his dives. And this one was a giant manta ray. The cold-blooded fish was stuck in the remains of a fishing net, thanks to humans throwing their stuff in the water. The diver slowly got up close to it, but when he touched the giant fish, it became alarmed and tried to flee. Then the diver got hold of one of the strings, and for a while, kind of wrestled with getting it off, but managed to pull it off. Underwater graveyard. A team of cave divers has found an underwater cave in Madagascar that has revealed hundreds of fossils, which ranchers believe were washed into the underground trap by storms thousands of years ago. The underwater graveyard contains fossils of extinct animals, including primates, hippos, crocodiles, and the island's largest predatory cat. It is said that the sinkhole where the bones were found had been preserved in a miraculous way. Even the skulls and jaws found are virtually complete. It is said they were the skulls of 17 different species. Shark checking out submarine. A massive blunt-nosed 6-gill shark was caught on camera when it got too close to the submarine. The shark was 20 feet long, which was twice the size of the water vessel. It even charged at it and tried to look inside of it with her pearly white giant eyes. Not much is known about these blunt-nosed 6-gill sharks since they live so deep in the ocean. They're considered the dominant predators of the deep-sea ecosystem, though they're not the largest shark species. That title goes to their extinct cousin, the megalodon. You can call it a water dino. Shark statue. If you are scared of deep water creatures, this eerie creature will definitely give you the heebie-jeebies. Here is a statue from Lake Nuuk. Yeah, I know, that's not a real shark, but it is famous for frightening the people that go for a dip in the water, and I don't blame them. I mean, just look at the eyes. They can scare the life out of any normal human being. Yikes! It looks like they are looking right at you. Now, let's get ready for today's open discussion. These two divers are Brazilian divers. They came across a 20-foot-long anaconda, and instead of swimming away for their lives, they decided to capture it on their video camera. Well, that's all guys for today. Thank you for watching the video, and if you guys found it interesting, I would much appreciate it if you comment down below about the video and leave a thumbs up. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for getting updates related to our latest videos.